Hi everyone. This afternoon I'm going to be doing a healthy chili. This is something that you can bring for lunch with you, you can have for dinner a couple nights in a row, and it freezes easily, so it's an all-around good dish. It's got healthy ingredients in it. Uh, I've left it mild. I didn't put any hot stuff in it because we all have very sensitive stomachs. And I'm not going to get into the debate of real chili doesn't have beans and stuff. Mine has beans because I want added protein. So anyway, let's go over the ingredients and we're going to start cooking it. Actually really comes together pretty quickly and pretty easily. So stay with me and we're going to do Dave's Healthy Chili. So here's the ingredients in no particular order. You're going to need a little bit of olive oil. I got some monk fruit artificial sweetener. We've got chili powder, oregano, some cumin. I've got fresh garlic, Worcestershire sauce, salt and pepper. I've got orange and yellow bell peppers. I'm not going with the green. The green somehow seemed to upset my stomach. I don't know why that is, but I'm going with orange and yellow. Got some tarragon. I got some pommy tomato sauce. I don't know how much of this I'm going to use, but it's good to have on hand. Shaybrook Farms, I've got a 20.8 ounce, 1.3 pound package of their 93% lean ground turkey. Got one large sweet tomato. I've got a can of Hunt's Fire Roasted diced tomatoes. Some Hunt's tomato paste. I'm probably going to use about 3/4 of this can. It's a 12 ounce can. I've got some San Marzano peeled tomatoes, a 28 ounce can. Same stuff I use for the marinara sauce. And I got 3 different kinds of beans. I've got, I got the wrong ones. I got dark kidney beans. I've got black beans. And I wanted pinto beans, but instead I have black-eyed peas. So I'm going to see if I've got some pinto beans in the cupboard. I didn't want black-eyed peas. So anyway, that's all those ingredients in whole. There's nothing really unhealthy about any of those, and that's what it is. So it comes together pretty easy. Let's start cooking. First thing we're going to need is some heat. So let's get this up on hot, and then I'm going to use one of my big heavy pots. This is one of my Christmas gifts to myself. It's a Le Creuset cast iron with the marble. Ooh, fancy. All right, to this, we're going to put in a little bit of olive oil. I don't know, just about a tablespoonful or so. And to that I'm going to add the ground turkey. Nothing fancy about this, so make sure you don't have the paper in there, just kind of drop it in. And you all know how to brown turkey. Just going to kind of chop it up a little bit here. And to this, while it's cooking, I'm going to add a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. And I'm going to throw in a little bit of salt and black pepper. Just a little bit. Whatever you like for your own taste. So let me brown this up. I'm just going to start it, then I'll finish it off camera. Just kind of peel it. Then from there, with a good sharp knife, I'm just going to roughly chop it. The way I do this is I slice it first, and I cut it in half, and I stack the other half, and then I'll just come down and mince it up. It's okay if it's in bigger chunks. It's all going to get nice and soft and be in a chili. So I have the onions chopped up pretty well, and got those in a bowl. And now, basically, if you don't know how to break down a bell pepper, I'm just going to show you really quick the way I do it. I just cut the top off like that, and then I kind of dig out the center with the seeds. Then I lop off the bottom. Kind of set this section aside for a second, because what I want is the sweet corners right here without the seeds. And I'm going to take some of the sweet corners here. You want to stay away from the white ribbing, because that's going to be kind of bitter. And basically, these little pieces here, to get the most out of the pepper, I'm just going to kind of chop up and put aside. Straight down. So then with this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the camera in here. I want to slice down alongside one of these ribs, and then I'm just going to open it up. And I'm going to lay the knife down flat against the top, and I'm just going to kind of move the knife forward and cut out those bitter ribs. And then I've got just the flesh that's left. So I'll cut that. I kind of like to do that in strips. And then kind of simple, you get it. And that's how I break it down. So I'm going to do the same thing with this one, and I'm going to do the same exact thing with the orange one, and we'll come back. Now that I've removed the hamburger from the pot here, we've got the heat on high again. Just going to add another tablespoon or so of olive oil, and then we're going to add our onion. All that beautiful onion that we chopped up, that sweet onion. And I love how this smells when it's in the house. I mean, people come in and they're like, oh boy, Dave's cooking. Dave is cooking. He's got something going on. So I'm just going to kind of coat these onions up a little bit. And just as I just want to kind of saute them down until they get, they call translucent. It looks almost like you can see through them. They're getting almost like a clear color. And just when they start getting close to that, I am going to dump in the garlic, because I don't want the garlic to burn, so I'm going to put that in there, and I'm just going to kind of stir it up towards the end. But in the meantime, because this is going so quick, you want to open and clean off your can of the tomatoes. These tops of these cans are nasty, but anyway, we're going to clean this up. We're going to open it, because that's all going to get broken up in there next. And they're starting to get there. They're starting to get a little bit soft, so I'm just going to put that fresh minced garlic in there. Wow. As soon as that garlic hits the hot pan, it just says, hello, I'm here. Whew. Love it. All right, we're just going to cook this for a few more minutes, and then we're going to be back to add the tomatoes. With this down to medium, the garlic is just starting to brown a little bit. Put the heat on medium, like I said. And we're going to take these tomatoes. We're not going to dump the whole can in. We're going to take each one with clean hands. And we're just going to kind of squeeze them in there and break them up. If you got little kids at home, they love to do this. It squirts all over the place. And just tastes so good. All these fresh, good ingredients, you can't beat them. I mean, your dishes are only as good as the ingredients. Now, for some of my clients that I have, which I'll go over a little bit more tomorrow, some of them are very discerning. So they want Kobe beef that's from a select farm in Australia, and I usually need about a 5-day heads up for that, so I can get it overnighted to me from Australia. Or if they're in the mood for alligator, I got to get some from Louisiana. I got a farm there that I use. And there's also farms in Utah for pork steaks, and these are all very high-end steaks and things like this, which cost a lot of money, which I don't have, but thankfully the clients have plenty of money, and they end up buying the ingredients because they are convinced as well that the fresher the ingredients, the higher the quality of the ingredients, the better it comes out in taste. So I've got these in here. It's down to medium heat. I'm just going to let it cook for a little bit. And in the meantime, let's start prepping the beans and getting those ready. As I mentioned earlier, I don't have any pinto beans. That's what I like to use. So I'm using an extra can of dark kidney beans. And basically, I'm just going to empty these right into a colander. Scrape it up from the bottom. Another can here. And the black beans. And under cool water, just going to basically rinse those off. This is going to add so much protein, it's crazy. Alrighty, then we're back over to the stove, and this has been cooking on medium for a while. Just kind of stirring it up, making sure nothing's burning on the bottom. And to this, I've got my 12-ounce can of tomato paste. I want to use about 3/4 of that. 6 ounces is just a little bit too little. And they only come in 6-ounce cans, and then the 12 ounces seems to be just a bit much. So I got about 3/4 of the can in there. Kind of stir that up. Into that, I'm also going to add the peppers that we had. And I'm going to get those yellow and orange peppers in there. And mix those up. It's all coming together pretty quick. To that, I'm going to add a can of the fire roasted garlic. I like the Hunt's tomatoes. Gives it just a little bit more of that tomato-ness. Let's throw in some spices. Here I've got about a tablespoon of chili powder, a tablespoon of monk fruit, and underneath all this I've got about a 1.5 teaspoons of the cumin, of the tarragon, and the oregano. And we're just going to kind of throw this right in there. Ooh, smells so good. Mix that along. Starting to smell good. Now to that, I'm going to add our beef or our turkey that we had browned. Just kind of roll that all in there. And if it looks like it's going to be a little too thick, take some of that reserved tomato sauce and just pour a little bit in there. That was from the whole plum tomatoes that we broke apart. Now with that all set, pot's just barely big enough. We're going to add the beans. The beans. So we're going to add all this together. I'm going to mix it all up. See where we're at once it starts simmering. And then we'll give it a little bit of a taste. But I want to simmer this for probably about a half an hour to an hour. And you got to make sure you keep stirring it, because you don't want it to stick to the bottom, because it's on a very low simmer right now. So I've kind of got this all mixed up in here, but as you can see, it makes a mess of chili. And when I say that this stuff is awesome, I mean, it's extreme. It is so good. It is just really that. The only way to explain it is to have you taste it. But I have people also asking, Dave, when you're making chili, can you freeze some for me? Can you put some in a jar for me and send it over? It's the best chili I've ever had. It sits well in my gut. And again, you can season this however you want to season it, but give it a little taste every now and then once it's been simmering for a little while. But this is all just goodness. Well, it's been simmering for about an hour now. Wow. And I'm just going to give that a little bit of a taste. That is perfect, just the way it is. Now, if you wanted to add a little something else to it, and it depends on your taste buds, but I've done this in the past, and some people really like it, some people don't. Most of them do, but I add about a teaspoon at a time of ground cinnamon, a little bit of nutmeg, and you can actually take cocoa powder, or you can take your chocolate protein powder and sprinkle a little bit of that in there and stir it up, and it just enhances it. So I'm going to give this about another half hour, and then I'm going to let the beans really get in there and cook well. And I'm going to serve up just a small portion. Alrighty, it's been about another half hour. Gonna give Give that a little bit of a stir. That's amazing. Ooh, so good. So, just so we can do an official taste, I've got a small little bowl here. And I'm just going to take some of that chili. I'm going to put it right in the center. And let's go over to the counter. We got our chili here. And you can use sharp cheddar, you can use whichever you like. But I'm just going to put a little bit of, I've got some 4 cheese blend Mexican, just to make it easy. And I'm going to put that right up on top. And to save time, I'm going to just toss it in the air fryer for about 3 minutes just to melt this up. This would have certainly melted on its own, but for the sake of the video, I'm kind of in a hurry. So I'm just going to put a little bit of garnish on here, which is completely optional. And I'll throw it right over there. There you go. There you go. You've got healthy chili. And it is so good and so flavorful. You're not going to believe it. You just have to make it to appreciate it. So let's give it a quick taste. Mm. Mm. It's good. It's really, 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 really good. I almost said it was amazing, but I find that I'm doing that too often. So, make sure you give this a shot. Mm. On a cold day, winter, I start making this usually in the fall. And it's just something that you can put in a little container and you can heat up at work really easily. Throw some cheese on it. You can portion out some for dinner. If you're going for the bread, which I'm not, you can certainly add it to some buttered bread. But one of the things I want to do is I want to make meals that not only are good for you and good for your stomach, or tolerable for your stomach at least, but something that your whole family can enjoy, something that your kids would like, something that your husband or wife or partner or whatever you got, they all can enjoy it. And this, it's just so good, and it's healthy. And it doesn't sit like a lead weight in your stomach. It doesn't burn you up. And I got to stop eating this. Not that I'm full, but I'm saving myself for that Valentine dinner tonight. It's a Valentine series that I'm going to do. And if you want a hint, it's going to be, I've got some Maine lobster. And I'm going to make some zoodles instead of pasta. And we are going to have something off of my special menu that I reserve only for my clients. And I won't show you the whole menu, but I'm going to take something off that menu and I'm going to make it friendly for us. And it's one of the more popular dishes. And with Valentine's coming up, you can make it and wow everybody. So it's 1 dish out of 2, and we'll start making that tonight. But I'll probably have the video tomorrow because it's going to be a lot of prep work. But actually, try this. It's so good. I have such a big pot of it. Please try it.